Okay, hey everybody, welcome. Wanted to jump on here and give you a little update. Let me grab, I'm going to share my screen here in just a second, but I know that many of us struggle with keeping up with everything going on. We do. We struggle. We don't know how to do it. It's just there's so much happening, and what I'm going to recommend is you get everything in one place, and that's not just for your communications team, but that's for your staff and heads of departments, people who are trying to keep up with what's going on, that need to know. And so this is one of the ways that you can actually streamline internal communications for your church. I'm going to show you what I used to use all the time. It's going to look super complicated when I show it to you first, but hang with me. I'm going to explain how it works. And it's going to make a ton of sense, and you're going to go, "Wow, how can I get one? I'd love to have that." And I will make it. I think it's already available in the files section of this group, but I'll link to it here in the bottom when we're done. As soon as I can. I have a meeting at 2:00 Central Time, so I'm going to hustle through this. But I wanted you to see this major messaging calendar. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Here we go. It's not working. Yeah, there we go. Here, I want to show you the secondary display. All right. So here's what we got. This is the major messaging calendar that I used pretty much my whole time at my last church. Now, I know that it can seem a little bit scary, a little bit freaky looking. But I'm looking for something really quick. Hold on. I'm sorry. Picture shape. Let's do this so that there we go. That way you can see more of it. Okay. So as we look around, let me show you this thing really quick. Now, here's how this works. At the bottom of this Google Sheet, this is basically where everything happens. You'll see Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? So as I had it divided up into these months, January, February, March. Now, this is from 2019, so everything's kind of filled in. I'll show you the most filled in one is Q4, so you can see what we had going on in the last couple months. All right. So this top, that's not it. Where is it? Come on. Q3. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, we're going back to Q4. Okay. For Q4, you can see how we had things kind of lined up. Actually, I'm going to do Q3. I broke it into three. Each quarter had 3 months. So we got July, August, September. So these months were just... Sorry, it's going really slowly and sluggish. So I'm clicking and then it's doing something and it's throwing me off. So in this quarter of August, you can see all the things that we had going on in these different areas. So I divided it up into the 4 Sundays that we had, and I had to go in and manually do this for each quarter because sometimes you have a 5, as you can see here, like September is a 5-week month, right? So on those months, we had to add a month, add a Sunday in there. Sometimes it fell in one of these other ones. We just had to adjust. Now over here you got the date for each of those Sundays. And then underneath it, I would put anything that's going on, like a big event I need to be aware of, would land in that. If it's close to that Sunday, then I would put, like here, you have the 1-day serve. It's on the 12th. 11 was the Sunday. So we had a serve day the very next night, right? And we had a worship night as well. That was actually this night. And I just kind of knew that. That was notes to myself. You could make that bigger and more detailed if you want, but that's just all I needed for it. And then I had them Sunday 1, 2, 3, 4, so the sermons should be right here actually. Then I'd color code what series we were in, because a lot of churches use series preaching, and that's super helpful. So I had the series, so I'd know what the topics were. And then if we actually had an app, so if there was anything that needed to be push notification on the app, I would put it there. This month we didn't do anything, so I'd put that there. Then we had something called the first 5, which was supposed to happen is like the roll. What's it called? The announcements that kind of on a loop before the service starts. And we recorded footage, and we were like, what do we want to do for that? Let's record something like a live talking head announcement, because we had a studio, we had a team. And so we did that some, but we only did like one. Like this was one thing that would play for like all these weeks, right? It would play all the way into like here. be the same one. And it would be the first 5 minutes. And we could swap out, a couple of pre-recorded marriage ministry announcement. We just pop it in. So we had all these parts that were kind of like stock announcements that weren't going to change for ministries that were ongoing, that we could just drop in and switch it up a little bit. And then we had our team that would basically do the same thing every time. But we didn't like it, so we didn't do too much with it. But then we had our video announcements here. And in this section, we would hold on. In this whole section is where we would decide what video announcements we needed to discuss. So each week we filmed a new set of video announcements, which were called The Loop. And it was about 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long at the most. We tried to keep it under 3. And we would say, what are the spots we need to discuss? So I color coded it for like slow down and stop. So it's like, this one is just standard black. This one's green. Like, you're good if you go to here, this many announcements. Here, yeah, we can do this. Starting the warning sign, it's orange. Okay, if you have to do this one, do it, but no more. And then we had what was called a hosting note in our service. This is what was going to happen in a live announcement. So if we had something that went live here, this changed so much that I never got a chance to really write it down. But if I could get the team to actually use this, it would help me know that I don't need to talk about, say, Honduras in this week's, because it's going to be here talked about live because they have something special they want to do. So it helped us communicate what was important and why we needed to talk about it and where, so that we didn't overlap or, look like idiots. Then we had 5 posters and 2 what we call potty press setups at each campus. We had 4 campuses. And so at each campus, we had 5 posters on the wall. And of those posters, each week we'd say, here's what we needed to have out. Our designs that we'd make for these posters. And we had them delivered to the campuses, and they were up by these weeks, and they were out on the walls. And then we had potty press men's and women's, because this was, I loved this one. Because honestly, when you're standing at a urinal, if there's something right here in front of you that you're reading, you're going to read it. You're going to read it. If you're sitting on a toilet and there's something on the back of the door of the stall right here, you're going to read it. And so we put things there all the time, and it allowed us to have a little bit of kind of let's say it's not as G-rated, not quite PG-rated humor about some of the things that we did that we wouldn't have put out in the lobby. It's kind of funny to see it, because it's at the end of the day, I mean, you're reading it in the bathroom. I mean, it's like, this is bathroom material. Okay. So this is, we're not pretending that this is something it's not, right? One of my favorite ones is we use the Star Wars targeting system from like A New Hope, and we put it over the urinal, and it said "Stay on target," and then it was an advertisement for going to Bible studies to help keep you focused on the right things, which I thought was pretty great. All right, so I'm getting a warning. My disk is almost full. I need a better new computer. Anyway, here's the campus stuff. We had an info center, like an info desk, what needed to go out there, any handouts that were going to be handed out at the door, which weeks, so that we knew what was going on, what we needed to have delivered where. Any digital ads, I usually didn't use this too much because those change so fast. But if you have a high reporting kind of need to people above you, this is good to have. And then any print ads we had outgoing. So we had a new to the neighborhood mailer. Someone showed up in a new house. It was automatically mailed to them through this company called Welcome Wagon that we used. We also had Community Impact, which is a newspaper that a lot of people actually read around here. So we had an ad in that every once in a while. And then financial statement when we had our annual report, if we needed to have that as a print something. I don't know why that's actually there. And then any pre-service digital signage. So when we were getting ready to roll out digital TVs instead of posters. And so we already had one loop that kind of went over by itself digitally and scrolled over the info center. And so we were trying to keep up with that. So anyway, that's what this is. And when you look at all of it together, yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but you don't look at it all at once. You look at each section as you need it. So when you break it down into sections, let's look at what we're doing for video announcements. Well, that's just this section. That's not super hard. You can keep up with that. So what I do is about once a month, usually on the 3rd Thursday of the month, I would get with my boss and the creative director and anybody else that might be in the video director. and we would talk. We'd have like a 45-minute meeting, and I'd already have like a bunch of ideas of things that needed to be communicated in announcements, and we would get together and say, what's our schedule? And I'd draw it on a whiteboard, and we'd get this all figured out, and then I'd just transpose it to this. And then our project manager would take it and start putting some of these work orders in for into Asana so that we could get it done. But that was because we had, 8,000 people, 4 campuses, a team of 5 on our comms team. But if you're a lone ranger, just getting your staff to access this and enter things in this, or maybe you don't want them to enter things into this, but meet with you so you can have this information, tells you what you need to be able to do your job better ahead of time. And it's just really, really helpful. So hopefully that helps you. I'll put a link to download that for free. There'll be no sign up for my list kind of things for that, because this is just helpful. I'll put it in the file section of our Facebook group as well, the Seminary of Hard Knocks group, if you're watching this on YouTube. But thank you for watching and listening. Hope you have a great day.